Welcome back to Ranger Life, and as you can see, I've got pretty much everything ready to go. The last thing I need to do is change out the oil pump, and I can start buttoning this up. But I didn't explain it last video, but basically I decided to reuse the Ranger exhaust cam just because I didn't like the idea of mismatching the camshafts, because I've seen other people online, they just reuse the Fusion camshaft, and I'm sure that's fine, you know, like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But just for me personally, I decided to just match them because it's out of the same car, so the intake and exhaust lift durations and all that should, you know, theoretically be the same. So basically it's just a larger displacement engine, but all the other characteristics of the engine are the same. I don't know if that'll rob me of horsepower that I could have had with the stock Fusion cam, but you know, whatever. Just gonna show you the old clutch. And so here's the old flywheel, and I was looking at this, and the clutch isn't that bad, but I mean the grooves are sort of wearing down, and there's not much. Yeah, like the fingernail will kind of catch, but not really. So I mean, it probably would have another, I don't know, 10 to 20,000 miles of life on this clutch. But I figure, you know, as I'm in there, might as well just swap this out, including new flywheel and everything. Even though this flywheel looks alright, I would have to get it resurfaced at the very least. And so instead of going through all that trouble, I just ended up buying a new one. And I bought a Stage 2 clutch and flywheel from, I don't know, Clutch Max Pro. I don't know if that's a good company. I don't think it is. It's probably not known for anything. But, you know, just new is probably better than what was in there. I think this was a no-name brand. These are not the OEM parts. I think these are made by PHT, I guess. I've never even heard of that company. So, and the truck ran fine. Like, it drove fine. So, with this, you know, it can't be worse than that, right? I don't know what this is. It's probably Clutch Max Pro or whatever. But yeah, this is a Stage 2 clutch. So it should be a little bit grabbier because this engine in the Fusion in stock form puts out about 170 horsepower and around 170 pounds of torque. And the old Ranger motor put out like 140 or so. And so to accommodate, I'm not sure I'm going to get all 170 horses on this, especially since I swapped out the camshafts. But even if I get like 160, I think the OEM is rated for like 150 horsepower, which is more than enough, you know, for what you're doing. But I figured, you know, because of the added power that I'm going to be having with this new block, I might as well upgrade the clutch as well. Alright, so here's the oil pump out of the Fusion. It doesn't look like it had a gasket on it. Maybe they didn't ship them with gaskets, I don't know. But that's the one. There's the inside of the block. And basically just have to replace this now. So let me grab the other one. I think this came with a gasket. Yeah, I bought one. It's weird that the stock one doesn't have a gasket. Maybe it's not necessary. So here's the Ranger one. Let's see, how is it different? It's like this. Yeah, it's a little bit different. You can see right here the design of it. And then, I mean, other than that, other than how the outlet or the intake tube or the intake pickup thing is shaped, it's pretty much the same. So yeah, I don't know. Alright, so we got the new oil pump in there. And I was comparing the sprockets for the Fusion and the Ranger. This is the one that used to be on here. As you can see, I took the one off the Ranger here. And the Ranger one is a lot bigger. But it's not enough of a difference to say that, oh yeah, this gear will work fine. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine, but I don't want to starve the engine of oil if I don't have to. And so what I'm going to do is reuse this Ranger sprocket for the oil pump, just so that it spins, you know, just as fast as it would in a normal Ranger. Oh yeah, well, I guess never mind, because with the Ranger cam on there, the cam gear, it actually doesn't even fit. It won't reach. And looking at the crank bearing or journal, I guess, or what do you call this? The crank carrier thing. It's definitely a wider on this block than it is down there. You can see the oil pump is actually a lot closer to this, so this distance is further than this distance. As you can see here, my very ghetto measuring system of my hand. If I take that over here, actually it looks almost the same. But for whatever reason, this Ranger gear fits perfectly on the Ranger block, but not on the Fusion block. So it looks like I don't really have a choice. I'm gonna have to reuse the Fusion pump and then just hope it doesn't have oiling issues, which it shouldn't. I'm sure it's fine. But you know, well, you know, it was worth a shot. Got that all finished up, oil pump on, and the tensioner back on with the chain, timing chain. Hopefully I was able to tighten this enough to where it won't fall off. And got the oil pickup tube on here, perfect fit now. And so now I can put the new pan on. It's over here, shiny new pan. Shouldn't have any more leaks anymore out of the pan, at least, unless I did something wrong, you know. But yeah. All right, so after a couple hours of scraping, the block surfaces are pretty clean. I just still got to do the top, but not really a whole lot of scraping to do there. Probably just cleaning it up, because I don't think there was gasket maker on the top here, but I'll be adding some. And I also went ahead and this oil passage right here, just in case that it would get oil, I did tap it. Here's the final product. I just cut one of the bolts for the engine mount, which are not going to be used anymore, and just cut a groove into it with an angle grinder. And then this is going to go in here, and I decided to do this. I was going to use a bolt, but this hole right here, actually there's a divot in the timing cover that you can screw something into here. I guess one of the bolt screws there, I don't remember right now with it off. But basically the bolt head would get in the way, so something like this would probably be better. This is definitely not going to sit all the way flush, but as long as it plugs up that hole, pretty much I think it's going to be okay. So I'm just going to glop a bunch of Loctite on there. So there it is, if it'll focus. It's definitely not pretty, not the prettiest thing, but I glopped a ton of Loctite on there, so that should be good. That should plug up that hole. And, you know, hand tight, and then just a little bit more, give a little oomph, and then, you know, the red Loctite should pretty much glue it in place after that. So that's taken care of. I don't think there's really much else for me to do here. I want to make sure I'm doing everything while everything's open, and double checking, you know what I mean, just so nothing is missed, so I don't blow my engine up. But it looks like I need to check the service manual, but I think I can put the tensioner back on. Alright, got the chain tensioner back on there. Pretty easy, just C-clamp it down, and then you stick a little thing in this hole, and that'll hold the little plunger thing there that holds the thing. sorry if it's not very specific. I don't know what all the little pieces are called, but you get it in there, and then tightens the chain up. And now what I'm going to do is pour some oil on these camshafts, and then just tighten the cam caps down. And the order is middle first, then outside middle. Basically you work outwards from the middle, and you want to end on number 1 because it holds both of them down. Both camshafts are clocked about the same. I guess this one could go a little bit more that way, so let me do that real fast. And how you adjust these is there's a hex thingy here on the camshaft itself, and you slide. I'm using a 23. 23 might be a tight fit here, it looks like. Normally 23 works. Yeah, it's working on this side. I guess just the way that this camshaft is clocked, it's not fitting, so I'll get the 24 and then just clock it. Let's see, just a little bit. That's too much. Right around there. Maybe a little bit more. Too much? A little less? Yeah, that looks about right. And the reason I'm clocking the intake cam and not the exhaust cam is because the exhaust cam is hitting up against some kind of valve or something right now. So when you turn it, it just snaps back into place because of the spring. Kind of ran into kind of a huge disaster, honestly, because I followed the internet's advice on the 2017 Fusion and these cam cap bolts, and it said 18 foot-pounds plus another 90 degrees on top. And so when I was doing that, I actually set it at 15 foot-pounds and 45 degrees because it just felt like way too much. And basically what ended up happening is I ended up stripping out the threads on the, let me see, I can show you. So let's take this one off. And I actually stripped 2 of these thread holes. The other one, I didn't strip that many threads, so I was able to torque it to spec. But for this one, basically all the threads are gone that this would hold on to. And so you can see down there it's pretty much smooth and there's nothing to hold on. So that is a big bummer, man. So basically lesson learned is never trust the internet. I should have just gone with 12 foot-pounds like it said in the service manual. I'm not afraid to show them both my wins and my losses. This would have been a huge win if those threads hadn't pulled apart, but yeah, that's my bad. I'll take the hit for that. So you guys could roast me for messing up something so simple. You know, I never said I was like a master mechanic, you know what I mean? Yeah, it sucks, but I guess I'll just have to swap the heads over. I've never done that before, so it's a learning experience, so I'll take it, you know, as a positive. Like, this is a good thing that's happened, right? I'm not gonna start doing that today because it's almost the end of the day, sun's going down. And so I'm gonna start that next week and basically tearing this thing apart, hopefully not breaking anything. And then transferring the cams back over to their original place after I clean this, because this is really dirty. And I'll order a head gasket so I can put that on there. And hopefully, yeah, no more issues. Now I know 12 foot-pounds on the cam caps. So don't over tighten these. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it for today. Huge setback for me. This is probably gonna take an extra couple weeks now because of that, which is kind of a bummer. But oh well, you know, shit happens, whatever, and you gotta just work with it. Thanks for watching.